Hey y'all, this is Melissa here with Quilting by Heart. Welcome back to my channel. So if you notice today that my voice sounds a little bit strange, I have been really sick over the weekend. I've just had a rough, this Mother's Day weekend has been a doozy for me. I have been very sick. Did y'all see my shirt? I just wanted to show y'all my little Timu shirt. It says I still play with blocks. I've been enjoying this little shirt. I think it's really cute. Yeah. But I just wanted to pop on here today and have a little chat with y'all. I'm not going to be doing any quilting today because I'm still not 100%. I had an accident on Saturday. My husband and I had been wanting a bird bath, and so there was a place of business that sells the cement poured bird baths, the really heavy duty cement poured bird baths, along with other yard ornaments. And so we pulled up to this place of business, and I was going to hop down out of the truck and go and look at them. And I hopped down into the water meter. Unbeknownst to me, when I stepped down out of the truck, I stepped onto the cover of a water meter, and it was a brittle plastic, and it had been in the sun for a long time, and it broke, and my foot went down into the water meter. I thought at first that I had really hurt my ankle because the way it was hurting me, but turns out, thank the Lord, I did not hurt my ankle, but I skint the hide. Us old country folks would call it the hide. You know what I'm talking about. Several layers of the skin. I just peeled it up on the back of my foot. So every time I step down, every time I move, it's giving me a little bit of problems. And it's just going to be a hard thing to get healed up because of the way that I injured it. So I'm battling with that today. But on the whole, it's been a rough weekend. I'll just be honest. If you know me, I am an oversharer. I have told y'all that before. I've had a rough weekend this weekend. I have cried. I've cried more this past weekend than I have in a long time. And it was so funny because, well, it wasn't funny, but it was a little humorous because one lady, bless her heart, she had commented that I'm just a beam of sunshine on there, and I wonder what that lady would have thought if she would have saw me this weekend. I mean, I have just been going through it. I've been sick in my body. I don't know if it's the dread virus, but I kind of felt like maybe it's a possibility that it could have been that. It seems like it's wanting to settle in my chest. And I just had so many plans this past weekend. Have you ever just made so many plans? My husband was going to be off work. I was going to just get all these things done. We live on a rather large piece of property. For us, it's the largest we've ever owned and lived on. And it's just so much that needs to be done around here all the time. It is a beautiful place. Don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful place. But there is a lot behind the scenes that goes on with owning property. Anybody out there that's ever owned any amount of property, you know what I'm talking about. And I just wanted to talk about when life, you know, quilting, how quilting is affected by your health. It's just something that you don't think of. And here lately, I've been thinking about that more and more. And I see that people in the comments, they will comment sometimes that they're not able to quilt anymore. Quilting is, it's not just sitting sewing all the time. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of, you know, upper body strength required for handling a large quilt, and especially free motion quilting with that quilt, and even sandwiching a quilt together, however you do that, making your quilt sandwich and being able to stretch out to, you know, to put in your pins to pen based or to spray based, however you do that. There is a lot of upper body strength, more or less, that you need to have to be able to quilt. And I'm just at that point. I am 48 years old now. I'm right in the middle of that those midlife years, and I'm just right in the middle of menopause. I'm going through that time where, you know, things are changing from what it used to be. I'm not as strong as I used to be. I'm finding that even at 48 is a lot different. And you know what I'm talking about, ladies. 48 is a lot different than 35 or even 40. The other day, I was in Tractor Supply, and there was a 50-pound bag of lime that used to, I would have grabbed that bag of lime, and I would have thought nothing of it. I'd have thrown it in that buggy, walked out and thrown it in that. It's probably why I have ruptured disc in my back. I would have just, you know, been able to just handle that easy peasy. But I picked it up the other day and my body said, no way, girl, you're not doing this. I had to call for somebody to help me, which is pretty humbling. It's pretty, I don't know. It's just something it takes getting used to. Asking for help a lot of times from others kind of takes getting used to when you've been that person that just didn't have to do that, you know, in the times past. And yeah, so that's just a little bit different for me, having to ask for help and not being able to do exactly what I want to do when I want to do it. I've just I got COVID. I'm going to say the word COVID. I don't know if they still are, you know, taking down people for saying that word. I got COVID when it first came out. I got the Delta strain of COVID it's been about 4 or 5 years now. And I have really, now some people will tell you it's all in your head. No, I didn't take the jab because by the time, you know, that I would have taken the jab or whatever, I didn't feel comfortable with it. There was so much in the air about it at that time. I just didn't feel comfortable getting it. I don't regret that. I would not go back and take the jab because I saw people that had the COVID vaccine that actually went on to get sick and pretty sick with COVID. So I just figured that natural immunity, you know, would do me good and that I would just over it like I did everything else. Well, I wound up in the hospital with double pneumonia. I stayed there for 5 days with double pneumonia in the hospital. I was a very sick human being. But God was there with me through the whole struggle. He was there with me. He was so close to me those days. I was there by myself. It was just a sweet time. The Lord was there. His presence was with me. He went right with me through that. He's been with me through every hard season of my life. That's why I always say, if you don't know Jesus, you don't know what you're missing. Because he's truly a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. And that's just the truth. That's just how it is. He can be there when nobody else can. When the person that's supposed to love you the most in all of the world betrays you or turns their back on you, when everything falls apart, he can walk with you through that, because I am living proof that he can walk with you through that. He's been so good to me. But I want to start a little health journey. I've said all that leading up to this. And I don't know if I'm going to do it here, talk to you a little bit about it on my quilting channel, or whether I will maybe start another channel to show you all the things that I'm going to be doing. I am very interested in the ketogenic diet. I have never been one to worry about my weight. Just never have. I have always been on the heavier side. I have watched people. I've had people in my life that struggle with their weight. I have watched them over the years, you know, lose weight and gain it back. Lose and gain it back. They can't help that. It's just the way their metabolism is. But I always just thought, if this is not something that I could do the rest of my life, then I just don't think that I would be up for it. I don't want to start something that I cannot continue. I don't want to start something and then not be able to do it. So, but what I want to focus on, I really want to focus on eating healthier, eating at home more, eating healthier, because being by yourself, now that my family is up and out of the house, as far my boys work and they still come home, so I do cook supper for them a lot of times. A lot of times they stop and get probably more than I cook. They stop and bring something home with them. We'll either get Popeye's chicken, or we'll do this, or we'll do that. But I'm really at the point where I want to start being more intentional, that's not a word, intentional about eating better food, making better food choices, hydration. I am not a drinker. I just do not drink a lot. I never have. When we were young, Mama would tell us, you know, when we were little, that she'd show us the door. You say, Mama, I'm thirsty. She might say to you, you know, there's the water hose. Get you a drink. We didn't hang around in the house all the time eating and drinking and snacking like kids do today. So we would get out. And I have just down through the years, I've got an aunt that was that way. I don't get thirsty very often. I will notice, sometimes I'll stop and notice I am so dehydrated. I'm so thirsty, but it just doesn't always register on me. So this Timu cup has really been helping me, because I can fill this up with ice water, and if it's sitting close by, then I can think to reach and grab it and try to hydrate myself. But I'm very bad, especially when I'm sick. I just want to get in my little shell. I don't want to eat or drink much. You know, I well, it's more drinking than not eating. I'll still eat. But I need to hydrate more. I want to make better food choices. I want to look into, I'd love to look into real bread, if you know what I'm talking about. There was a movement called Bread Bakers here a while back, and it's milling your own flour. I will never completely leave bread products. I love them. I know that I will never totally leave off bread products. I mean, Jesus said, I'm the bread of life. So we know that there has got to be some good bread in the world, and that it can be of nutritional value. So I really would like to get into the real bread movement where you buy the grain meal. I've been thinking about that. I really need to go to the doctor. I need to get under the care of my physician and really start doing what he tells me to do. As of this point, thank the Lord, I'm not a diabetic. I have noticed the past few times I've went to the doctor that my blood pressure has been elevated some, but we check it on and off, and when we check it, I think it might be a little bit of white coat syndrome. I just get a little bit nervous when I'm at the doctor, and it makes it elevate just a little bit. But yeah, I do have arthritis. I struggle with arthritis. I have a lot of back problems. I struggle with arthritis. So I've got a full plate to change my ways. I have got, and I'm not doing this at this point in my life. It's not so much, yes, weight loss would be a good thing. Yes, for my clothes to fit better would be a good thing. Yes, to look a little bit better and not look quite so fluffy on a video or in a picture or something like that would be a great thing. But it's not really about aesthetics as much as it is about my health this time around. So, yeah, I thought I would share that with y'all. Do y'all have any ideas to make quilting easier? I know that, I will say a table helps. If y'all saw in my last video, the big lifetime table that I was working on, having one of those lifetime tables really helps your sewing. Even if you don't have the place that you can put it up and leave it, even if you have to go out on your back, on the carport or the patio to set it up, that really helps when you are basting a quilt. When you are either pin basting or spray basting. I'm not fond of spray baste. I saw a lady was talking about the spray basting. I'm not real fond of spray base because it gets everywhere. I can feel it in my lungs when you breathe that stuff in. It has a terrible smell, and it gets places it always gets places that I'm not expecting it to. I always get sticky residue on stuff when I use the spray base. I've saw the DIY spray base that you actually make and put into the, that you shake up and put into the sprayer. I would like to try that at some point and see if that works. But since I've got my frame, really I haven't had to do much spray basting. But I do want to get back into, maybe at some point doing a little bit of free. I don't want to lose the ability to do a little bit of free motion on my machine. I'd like to stay in touch with my free motion skills, because there might come a time in my life when I downsize and don't have the room to have a big frame. But I'll be careful saying that. I don't really enjoy the free motion quilting with the machine so much as I do my frame. I will always use it the most, but I would like to keep the ability to straight line quilt. That's mostly what I do on my domestic machine, and to do that you've got to have some method for basting that quilt. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that I'll ever go solely back to that, but I don't want to lose the ability to be able to do that if I ever needed to. So yeah, get one of those lifetime tables. Those things are great for quilting. They are great for laying out. They are great for when you need to spread out, when you need to trim something. When you have to get down in the floor and you get past 40, that getting down in the floor gets hard. I see these young girls, down in the floor trimming their quilts and stuff like that. And there was 5 or 6 years ago that wouldn't have bothered me near as much. But when you get past 40 and you down in that floor, it really takes a toll on you physically. So yeah, I would recommend getting you a table. Even if it's just the smallest card table, that's better than nothing. You know, and you can always, if you live in have a limited amount of space, you can always fold them up and put them up under the bed or in a closet or something like that. But if you're able, even under the couch, if you're able, get you a little table. Those really, really help. And just taking your time. I think that more than anything too is just learning to slow down and take your time, because I tend to be a instant gratification type of person. I want to finish my quilt and I want to see what it looks like. I'm excited about my project when I'm doing it. I want to finish it and I want to see what it looks like. Well, you can't always do that when you get older and when you have physical limitations. You have to stop and rest. It might take 2 or 3 days to get that quilt done that you used to could turn out in 1 day's time. But when your body is tired, when you feel it in your neck, when you feel it in your shoulders from sitting so long at the sewing machine, you know, when your feet are starting to swell and you looking a little bit purple when you look down and stuff like that, get up, move around, get you something to drink, go do something else. You can always come back to it. I think sometimes we get into this mentality, and I've noticed that with other quilter sites, and even on mine. My last video was the fastest quilt ever. You know, and we get this quick mentality. We want to do it and do it quick. Well, that's not the way the old ladies quilted. They quilted when they had the time. They would sit and quilt when they got together every once in a while, and it might take them a year to do a big quilt. But they took their time and they enjoyed the process. They enjoyed the fellowship of being together. They got to enjoy, you know, picking the fabrics and the placement of the fabrics and stuff like that. Lots of memories made around old quilting frames. And if they needed to do one quick, they'd call in the cavalry, so to speak. They'd get the whole neighborhood together and they'd get that quilt done. You know, those times are gone, though. We really don't have that as much nowadays. If you are in a quilting guild, if you are in a sewing circle, you are very blessed if you've got really in-tune quilting group that you can connect with, because most people don't have that anymore. Quilting, by and large, is a long gone art. It's so commercialized too. Quilting today has become like everything else. It's so commercialized. It's about, I know I say it a lot of times, but it's about buying fabric. It's about fabric collecting a lot. It's about notion collecting. It's about machine collecting and stuff like that, as much as it is about the actual making of the quilt. But if you have an engaged group that you can, in your church or in your community, that you can, you know, you can plug into, then you are really blessed. And y'all get together and get those quilts turned out. But anyways, I'm going to pop off of here. I just wanted to share some of my heart with y'all today, some things that's been going on with me. I'm still pretty sick today. I'm not feeling my best today. So probably not going to be doing any quilting projects. I've got so much housework that needs to be done, and I just have to sit and look at it when I feel like this. But you know what? It's kind of like Annie. Do y'all remember Annie? The sun will come out tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have to work on it. We'll just have to wait till tomorrow. And that's just the way it is sometimes. Sometimes it has to be tomorrow. And this has been Melissa here at Quilting by Heart. I hope y'all are having a better week than I'm having. I hope you're well and doing good and feeling good and just raring to go. I hope you had the greatest Mother's Day ever. I wanted to come on and leave a Mother's Day message, but I was so sick I didn't even come on and leave a Mother's Day message. But to all you moms out there, happy belated Mother's Day. There's nothing in this world like being a mother. I tell you, it's a blessing. I often look at my 3 children and I think I got so blessed when the Lord gave me my 3 children. I got so much better than I deserved when He gave me my 3 children. They are just awesome, awesome young adults now. I couldn't imagine my life without them. They are just so wonderful. My kids are so wonderful. But until next time, this has been me. here at Quilting by Heart, hoping that y'all have a great week. And let's get together and talk together soon. I thought about maybe doing some small projects if I felt like it, maybe towards the end of the week. I had a little bit of interest in what a canning mat. It was so funny. This lady was talking like, a cannon mat. What are you talking about, a cannon mat? I'm sorry. I'm so Southern, and a lot of times the way that I talk, I'm talking about a canning mat, like for home canned foods, you know, that you can set out and set your home canned foods when they're very hot, when they come out of the pressure canner, they're still, or the water bath canner, they're really hot, and you don't want to just set it on your countertop. A lot of times it could damage your countertop. So a canning mat would be a quilted mat that sets on top, you know, of your countertop to keep that. And we might make one of those. That's a project. You can also use them for hot pads for a large casserole dish. A lot of times we'll grab 2 or 3. Have you ever grabbed 2 or 3 small pot holders to stick up under a piping hot casserole dish to be able to set it down? Well, you can actually make a casserole dish size hot pad, a pin cut sew. I got that idea from her, and I enjoy making those. They're just really cute. I like to make the dish drying mats. I make those out of a new terry cloth towel and then quilt it. And that makes a great dish drying mat, and it's so much better than the ones you get from the store because it's actually absorbent. It absorbs the water better than those do. So there's lots of ideas and things that I want to share with y'all, but I'm just not feeling up to it today. But we're going to get together real soon, and we're going to be doing something else. And until then, this has been Melissa here at Quilting by Heart, hoping you have the best week ever. Bye, y'all.